The bad days in camp are the days you have injuries, and today was the injury news of Kader Kohou being out for the year. Tough one, man. Tough one. Tough one, especially for Kader. It's one of those situations where I'm in a little different position than some of you out there. Some of you out there have the silly hopefulness, or whatever you want to call it, of oh, you think you're going to the playoffs and you're going to have a good year. I don't expect a good year. So to me, the injury is not about having a good year or a bad year. This is just going to make probably another mediocre bad year worse. That's the way I look at it. But I feel bad for Kader because he's a young player that has really yet to prove himself. He has flashed. He has given us moments where you're like, whoa, this kid's got some skills, some talent, and he's definitely built the right way mentally. He's tough. And then this happens to anybody. It's a brutal sport, dude. It's a brutal sport, you know? And so now I feel bad for the kid. He's not really signed to a long-term contract, so the team has a break there. He'll be probably a free agent, but the good thing is for the Dolphins is that they can bring him back next year, and you're not really going to be risking a lot of money, and then it'll be up to him to come back from that knee injury, whatever it is, torn ligament, whatever, we'll find out. So sucks, man. It really sucks. I feel terrible for the kid because I wanted to see if he can turn the corner this year and become a guy. We didn't know. He's kind of like the best of what you have there. You don't have much in that secondary, and Kohou is the one kid that has shown us that he's got, ability, dude, and he can hit the shit out of you also. He's a great tackler, and that is hard to find as a corner. He's already a great tackler, and that is, a strong suit of his, and the physicality that he brings to the table. It's just him fine tuning the coverage skills, which he still had not done yet, but he was in the process of it. It reminds me a lot of Brandon Jones. And I remember one of the guys that I used to bring on all the time. I used to go back and forth with him because I was a Brandon Jones guy, and I would show how he was getting better and better and better. And unfortunately, they let him go. I guess the defensive coordinator didn't think Brandon fit. And so Brandon goes to Denver and has a really good season overall because he got better and better as a football player. Sometimes it takes them a couple of years, but as long as they're showing you incremental process, as progress, that is, as long as they're making a little progress every year or big jumps or whatever, you can, it's hard to live off of Tanner Connor and Julian Hill and people like that who have done nothing for 4 years and they don't improve. Well, Brandon was improving, and I think Kader was one of those guys that had a chance in this third year to start to show improvement because he had a rough year last year, and then he was terrific the year before that. So you wanted to see if maybe it's an experience thing, and he just takes that next step in the process. And now we're not going to find out, and so now we're going to have to wait till next year. And the poor kid, you know, he's going to be getting in shape for the season, and so we'll see how it all responds. The only positive is out of it, not for him. It's for the Dolphins in the front office, is that they can bring him back next year at a minimal price and all that. So that's about it. And then you can give him a chance to develop and see if he can cross the threshold and even make the team next year. That kind of stuff. But now, obviously, and I don't know how bad the injury is too. I don't know if he lost a bunch of cartilage. I have no idea. None of us really know the extent of the injury. So that's where it's sad, you know. That's where it's at. It's not a matter of, oh my God, our season's on the brink. No, that shit was already done on the brink and pushed over the edge. So it's a little different. It's kind of like the Marlins. You know, when a lot of you were pissed off about Yelich getting traded and Ozuna and Stanton and all that shit, I was like, I didn't care because I wasn't following the team. I wasn't talking about them. I didn't care. I didn't get attached to them. You know what I'm saying? So some of you are attached to thinking there's some season coming up. I'm not. So the injury doesn't put a damper on the season. I know what the season's going to be, with or without Kader Kohou. You know what I'm saying? So this doesn't really damper my season. This just dampers my emotions for Kader Kohou. I feel bad for him because he's a good dude, a terrific young man, a pro's pro, super tough. He's just missing fine-tuning one area of his game. He's got everything else, dude. The work ethic, everything else, and then this crap happens for him, and terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.